half of your bum is on the block and half of it is rolling forward, placing one foot cross-legged into the mat, okay? All right, so start working on the core muscles, and today we're focusing on the upper back. So we're gonna try and basically really loosen up all the area between the neck and the shoulder blades sort of area. So first of all, let's connect with the core muscles. So you're squeezing the different parts of the bandhas. So you've got the Mula Bandha, the Uddiyana Bandha, and the Jalandhara Bandha. So you're squeezing the bum holes, sucking the belly in, opening the chest, tucking the chin under, hands by your knees or the legs, and you're starting to breathe through the nose only, lengthening the breath, inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. So I'll give you the pace just for a couple of breaths, and then you're just gonna carry on by yourself. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now open your eyes, interlace the fingers in front of you, push the hands away from you. On the next inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, roll the shoulders away from you, squeeze the shoulder blades together, look straight ahead, suck the belly in. And then on the next inhale, keep your left hand up towards the ceiling, right hand down towards the floor. Exhale here, inhale, lengthen the left side, exhale, lean towards your right. Grounding down through the sitting bones, looking towards your left armpit. On the next inhale, come back to the center. Left hand up, down by the block, right hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen the right side, exhale, lean towards your left. You're looking down towards your right armpit. And inhale, coming back to the center. Now place your hands in front of the knees, okay? On the next inhale, you're looking forward, push the chest forward, look up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, you're curving the back the other way, looking down towards the groin. So I'll show you how to do it from the side, okay? On the inhale, you're pressing into the hands, push the chest forward, looking up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, you're curving the back the other way, looking down towards the floor. Inhale, look forward, chest forward, looking up. And exhale, looking down, curving, trying to curve the upper part of the back. One more. Inhale, pushing forward, looking up towards the ceiling. Exhale, curving the back the other side, looking down towards the groin. And then come back into a neutral position. Place your right hand behind you, left hand over the right knee. On the next inhale, suck the belly in, lengthen the spine. On the exhale, start turning the torso towards your right. Chin parallel to the floor, and you're looking towards your right shoulder. So you're using the hands to turn the torso, feeling a gentle stretch onto your upper back. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, you're twisting towards your right. And inhale, come back to the center, left hand behind you, right hand over the left knee on the exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, you're twisting towards your left. Chin parallel to the floor, and you're looking towards your left shoulder. Suck the belly in this position as well. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center, let go of the block. We're coming up into a standing position from here. So make sure you still can get hold of the block or a book. Should be around an A4 size, okay? We're gonna need it for the next pose. Start with the feet together at the top of the mat. So Tadasana or mountain pose. balance the weight into the middle of your feet. And then make sure that the weight is not too much on the front, neither on the heels. Pull the kneecaps up, start tilting the pelvis under, suck the belly in, open the chest, tuck the chin under, arms by your sides. And then on the next inhale, place your hands on your hips, and exhale, you're gonna step with your right foot 2/3 of the mat, turning the toes of the right foot towards the top right corner of your mat. And then you're grabbing hold of the block, bending the front leg, and you're placing the block on the inside of your left foot, of your front foot. And then you're placing your left hand on the inside of the left foot on top of the block. You can also place it directly onto the floor. Now, your left knee is touching your left arm, and you're pressing with your left knee, but you're resisting with your left arm, so that you're basically turning the torso towards your right. And then you can bring your right hand up towards the ceiling, looking either straight ahead or towards your right hand. Make sure you're squeezing the shoulder blades together, creating this movement where you're turning the torso towards your right. So you're really feeling a little bit of a stretch into your upper part of the back, but also the lower back around the right hip. In and into the count of 5. Again, really pressing with the left knee, resisting with the left arm, turning the torso towards your right. And then on the next inhale, you're looking down towards the floor. Exhale, bring your hands to the hips, straightening the front leg and step into the front of the mat. So you've got the block in between your legs. We're gonna do it on the opposite side. Hands on the hips, you're stepping with the left foot, 2/3 of the mat, turning the left toes towards the top left corner of the mat. The left leg is straight. On the next inhale, you're bending the front leg, placing your right arm either on the block or on the inside of the right foot, directly on the mat. Now, your right knee is pushing towards your right arm, and is turning the torso towards your left. Suck the belly in on the inhale, and on the exhale, you're bringing your left hand up towards the ceiling, either looking straight ahead or towards your left hand. Inhale into the count of 5, lengthening the torso, and exhale, you're turning towards your left. Suck the belly in. One long last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. On the next inhale, look down towards the floor. Exhale, bring your hands parallel to the floor. Inhale, hands on the hips, and exhale, you're stepping to the front of the mat. Get rid of the block. We're not gonna need it for this pose, but we might need it for the next one, okay? So have it nearby. Hands, feet hip width apart, hands on the hips. You're stepping with the left foot, quite a long stance on a lunge. So you're basically on the tiptoes of the left foot. You're trying to keep the left leg straight by pushing that heel away from you. Now we're gonna twist onto the right, but make sure that that left leg doesn't come in. So you're still trying to point the left foot forward, okay? You're bending the front leg, but you still want to see the big toes. And then on the next inhale, sitting in between the legs, you're opening the arms so that the right arm is behind you, the left arm is forward, thumbs facing up towards the ceiling, so you're opening the shoulders. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, looking towards your right thumb. Suck the belly in on the inhale, focus onto the upper part of the back, while squeezing the shoulder blades together and rotating towards the right. You're really mobilizing the thoracic area. Inhale into the count of 5, push the left heel away from you. Exhale into the count of 5. One long last breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, turn back to the front, hands on the hips, and you step into the front of the mat. We're gonna do it on the opposite side. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. Feet are hip width apart, hands on the hips. You're stepping with the right foot this time, quite a long lunge. You should be able to square the hips towards me or towards the front. So your right foot is slightly further out than the front foot. Now fix that right leg. You're on the tiptoes of the right toes, pushing that right heel away from you. You're sitting in between the legs, you're bending the front leg, and then on the next inhale, keeping that right leg and right toe pointing forward, you're turning towards your left. And bring your arms parallel to the floor, thumbs facing up towards the ceiling. Suck the belly in, looking towards your left thumb. Roll the shoulders away from you, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Focus on that upper part of the back, making sure that right foot doesn't come in. Inhaling to the count of 5, suck the belly in. Exhaling to the count of 5. The tendency is to go forward, to lean forward. You're sitting in between the legs. Last breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, hands on the hips, you're turning forward. And exhale, you step into the front of the mat. Give yourself a bit of a shake. Okay, now grab hold of the block. Come to the top of the mat. We're gonna do revolve triangle, okay? So we're gonna try and do a balancing act. So first of all, bring your left arm behind you. So you're just behind like this. Stepping the right foot back. And then on the next inhale, as you're bending the standing leg, you're lifting the right leg off the floor, placing the block underneath the shoulder. And then you're starting to turn slightly towards the left. Push that right leg up, really turning, trying to turn the shoulders towards the left. One breath here, inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, start looking down towards the floor, bending the standing leg, you're bringing your right leg down towards the floor. It's a difficult one, so just take it easy. If you're finding that that was too difficult, just focus on just turning. You don't need to bring that leg up, you just need to turn towards the side, okay? So see, if you struggle with this one, just focus on the upper part. So block on your left hand, feet hip width apart, you're stepping with the left foot back, start bending the right leg. As you're lifting the left leg off the floor, you're straightening the right leg, placing the block onto the floor. You also can use a chair to support yourself, lifting that left leg off the floor. If you found that the balancing was too much, just bring the leg down a little bit. And now right hand behind your back, and on the inhale, you're sucking the belly in. On the exhale, you're turning towards your right. One breath here, inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5, and then on the next inhale, you're looking down towards the floor, starting to bend the standing leg, you're bringing your left leg down towards the floor, hands on the hips, and you're stepping to the front of the mat. All right, you can get rid of the block now, we don't need it for a little bit. And now we're gonna start with the feet hip width apart. You're stepping with the left foot again into a lunge. Try to make a space between the front and the back foot. You're placing the left foot out to the side. So you're turning the toes towards the top left corner of the mat. And then you're placing your hands in front of your chest. So the left foot, the whole of the foot is on the floor, okay? And on the next inhale, you're bending the front leg and you're trying to hook the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. My hands are by my shoulder now. So what I want to do, I want to suck the belly in and turn the torso towards the right. If you're finding this difficult, just place your left arm on the outside of the right leg and turn the torso towards your right, okay? Otherwise, hands in front of your chest, elbow on the outside, and you're looking up towards the ceiling. Inhale to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. So your hands should be in the front of your chest, in the middle of your chest, one elbow stacked on top of the other. And then on the next inhale, you're looking down towards the floor. Bring your hands in front of your chest, turning towards the center, straightening the front leg, hands on the hips. You're stepping to the front of the mat. Give yourself a bit of a shake. You're gonna do it on the other side. So start with the feet hip width apart. You're stepping with the right foot, 2/3 of the mat, turning the toes towards the top right corner of the mat. Bend the front leg on the inhale, hands in front of your chest. On the exhale, sucking the belly in. You're trying to hook the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. And then as you're sucking the belly in, you're creating space so you can turn the torso towards your left. One elbow on top of the other, looking either straight ahead or towards the ceiling. If you're finding this difficult, just bring your right arm over the left, and then with the other hand on the chest, on the hip, you're turning the torso. Last inhale here, and exhale here. And then on the next inhale, look down towards the floor. Bring your hands to the center, chest to the center. Exhale, you're coming up, hands on the hips, and you're coming to the front of the mat. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. Everybody okay? Okay, so we're gonna do a variation of the sun salutation. We're only gonna do one or two. Well, let's do one. So first look at me, okay? When you get to the downward dog, so we're basically gonna do the downward dog. This is the one that I want you to focus on. Basically, when you're coming here, I want you to bend the knees, go on your tiptoes, pushing the bum up. And as your hands are shoulder width apart, you're focusing on trying to push your body through the hands. So you're keeping the hands where they are, but you're pushing your hands away from you, trying to bring the torso towards the thighs. And you'll feel quite a lot of stretch onto the upper back. And now the option is that you're looking down towards your feet, or you're pointing the top of your head down towards the floor, and then using the weight of the head, you're just turning the head very gently so that you're feeling that you're basically stretching the neck. You're squeezing the shoulder blades together, okay? So let's start together. Feet together to the top of the mat. On the next inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, look up at the ceiling. And exhale, you're folding forward at the hips. Place your hands on the shin, the ankle or the mat. On the next inhale, you press it through the hands, look forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, hands on the mat. Step the right leg out into a lunge, left leg to meet it into a high plank. Now we're going to directly into the downward dog. So you're pushing your arms away from you, coming into a downward dog. Walking your feet slightly forward, coming on your tiptoes, you're bending the knees, and now you're focusing onto the upper part of the body. So the hands are shoulder width apart, wrists are in line with the top of the mat, and now you're squeezing the shoulder blades together, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, and then looking down towards your feet, or pointing the top of the head down towards the floor. You're starting to push the hands away from you. So you're really trying to bring the torso to meet the thighs. In this position, I'm sometimes able to basically click my upper part of the thoracic, of the vertebra, and I get quite a nice release in this position. 2 more breaths here. Inhaling to the count of 5, squeeze the shoulder blades together, push the hands away from you. Last breath, inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, bring your knees down towards the floor. Now we're gonna do and come up, okay? We're gonna do quite a lot of exercises on the floor. If you're finding that your knees are uncomfortable, you can use a pillow underneath your knees, okay? So you can do that and come with the knees on top. All right, so we're starting with on the hands and knees, so you're coming on onto a tabletop. And now you're bringing the right hand into the middle of your body. So it's coming right into the middle. And on the next inhale, you're bringing your left hand up towards the ceiling, turning the torso towards your left. Squeeze the shoulder blade together. And then on the next inhale, you're looking down towards the floor. You're placing your left hand and the whole arm underneath the right, bending the right elbow to the side. You're placing the left shoulder and the left side of the head down towards the floor. And then if you want, you can stay with the elbow bent, turning the torso towards your right, or you can bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. Now if you want an extra stretch, you keep your right hand onto the floor, you're extending the right leg, you're on the tiptoes of that, and then you're bringing your right hand up towards the ceiling. As long as you're feeling a stretch and into the middle of the upper back, then you're fine, okay? You don't need to extend the right leg. The importance is that as you're squeezing the shoulder blades together, you're opening the chest, and then you're really feeling the stretch and the torsion onto the upper back. One long last breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, you're bringing your right hand back down onto the mat, coming back into a tabletop. Readjust yourself. So you're coming with the knees directly underneath the hips, the hands directly underneath the shoulders. You're walking this time the left hand into the middle. Suck the belly in on the inhale, on the exhale, bring your right hand up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, really opening the chest out towards the sides. And exhale, you're bringing your right arm underneath the left, placing your right shoulder, right side of the head onto the floor. And now you can bring your left arm up towards the ceiling. If you want, you can place your left arm down, extend the left leg, and then extend the left arm again. And then on the next inhale, start bringing your left hand back down towards the floor. And you're coming back into a tabletop. Exhale, you're coming into child pose. So you're bringing your knees together, you're sitting on your heels, your arms are forward, you're resting the forehead down onto the floor. We're gonna stay here for 2 breaths, and then we're gonna come into another position. So inhaling to the count of 5. If you want a more active pose, you can come on the tiptoes of your fingers, walking the fingers away from you so that really activates the front of your shoulders. And then on the next inhale, you're starting to look forward, and you're starting to slide the hands forward as you're bringing your bum up towards the ceiling. You're trying to keep the chin onto the floor, chest into the floor. So you're really stretching the upper part of the back and the shoulders. And then on the next inhale, start sitting back down onto the heels, coming into your fours. So first look at me, we're gonna do what is called the rabbit pose, okay? So basically what it is, you're coming forward and then you're starting to walk your hands away from you, and you're trying to put the top of your head onto the floor. So you're drawing in the navel, so you're really creating a space here. And as you're sliding the hand, if you can grab hold of any part of the legs, placing the top of the head down onto the floor, chin to chest, you're pushing down so that you're opening up your upper back, okay? Don't put too much weight onto the head, but you're wanting to push the hips up towards the ceiling, so you're creating that dome onto your upper part of the back, okay? So let's do it together. You're coming forward, the hands are on the mat. You can have your feet, your legs slightly apart so you get a little bit more balance, top of the feet on the mat. Start walking the hands away from you until you can basically place them somewhere on the legs. And then suck the belly in, draw the belly in, try to squeeze the lower part of the rib cage into the stomach, and then you're placing the top of your head down onto the floor. If you cannot reach it, use a block or use another pillow in here. And now as you're tucking the chin to the chest, you're starting to push the hips up towards the ceiling, so you're really creating that sort of stretch onto the upper part of the back. One long last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Relaxing the shoulder, making it stable by keeping them along the legs. And exhale into the count of 5. Very gently, you're coming out from the pose by sitting on your heels, coming up into a seated position on the heels, and then shift your bum either side of the legs so that you can bring your legs forward. Okay, legs are straight. Remove the flesh away from the buttocks, and then you're hugging the right knee towards your chest, placing the right foot on the outside of the left leg. The left leg is activated by pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, right hand behind you, left hand up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, either you're hugging the right knee towards the chest, or you're bringing your left elbow on the outside of the right knee, using the arms to twist towards your right. On the inhale, you're sucking the belly in. Try to create a space between the belly and the legs, so that on the exhale, you're turning the torso towards your right. You're not leaning on your arms, you're using your arms to turn to the side. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, you're turning towards your right. So you really should feel a stretch in between the shoulder blades. Chin parallel to the floor, you're looking towards your right shoulder. Last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center. Hug the right knee towards the chest and release it. We're going to do it on the opposite side. I'll show you how to do it from the front. On the next inhale, hug the left knee towards the chest. Bring your left foot on the outside of the right leg, pointing the toes of the right foot up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, left hand behind you, right hand up towards the ceiling, suck the belly in. On the exhale, you're hugging the left knee towards your chest with your right arm, or you're placing your right elbow on the outside of the left knee, turning the torso towards your left, looking towards your left shoulder. Still make sure you're pointing those toes up towards the ceiling. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. On the inhale, you're lengthening the spine. On the exhale, you're turning towards your left. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center. Hug the left knee towards the chest and release it. One more exercise here. You're hugging the right knee towards the chest. The left leg is straight, the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. With your left hand, you're grabbing hold of the edge of the right foot by grabbing the foot from the top. And now sucking the belly in, lengthening the spine on the inhale, you're turning towards your right. And then if you want, you can straighten the right leg and you can bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. Inhale, you're lengthening the spine. Exhale, you're turning towards your right. Squeeze the shoulder blades together wherever you are. And then as you're lengthening the spine and twisting towards your right, you're keeping the shoulder blades squeezed, so you're really feeling the twisting between the shoulder blades, the upper part of the back. One long last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, you're coming back toward, you're looking back towards the center. Hug the right knee towards the chest and release it. We're gonna do it on the opposite side. Right leg is straight, left leg is hugging your left, you're hugging the left knee towards the chest with your right hand. You're grabbing hold of the top of the foot at the edge. Left hand behind you, turning the torso towards your left. On the next inhale, suck the belly in. On the exhale, you're turning towards your left. If you want, you can straighten in the left leg. Bringing your left hand behind you. Make sure you're still activating that right foot. Sucking the belly in on the inhale, on the exhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together. You're looking towards your left hand. Last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5 and exhale into the count of 5. On the next inhale, come back to the center. Hug the left knee towards the chest and release it. We're coming into the last pose, which is the bridge pose. We're focusing onto the upper part of the shoulders, okay? So bring your bum into the center, place your hands in front of the knees, roll yourself onto your back, hugging the knees to the chest. And then we're gonna bring the feet as close as we can towards the hips, hip width apart with the toes slightly tucked in. Press your hands down onto the mat, tuck your chin to the chest, and then on the next inhale, you're lifting the hips off the floor. This time I really want you to start interlacing the fingers behind your back, and then you're trying to start walking the arms together so that you're shuffling to the top of your shoulders. As you're pushing the hips up, you're really feeling the stretch onto your neck and into the middle of your upper back. Pushing the hips up, squeezing the hands together, keeping your arms as straight as you can. And then on the next inhale, release the hands and release the back on the exhale down onto the floor. Hug the knees to the chest. We're gonna do it one more time. And then now we're gonna repeat what we've just done. Again, focusing onto the upper back. So the feet are hip width apart. Big toes are slightly tucked in. Press the hands down onto the mat on the next inhale. Keeping the feet as close as you can in front of your hips. Push the hips up. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Start walking the arms together so that you're shuffling to the top of your shoulders. Pushing the hips up. Really feeling that stretch in between the shoulder blades. Chin to chest, you're looking down towards your hips or your knees, keeping your neck safe. One last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5, exhale into the count of 5, and on the inhale, you're releasing the hand, exhale, you're bringing your back down towards the floor. Hug the knees to the chest. If we can squeeze one more in, we're gonna keep your right knee hugged. left leg down towards the floor. You're opening your right arm out to the sides, and you're bringing that right leg over onto the left side over the mat, looking towards your right hand, keeping both shoulders on the mat. So you're basically focusing on keeping the shoulders down onto the floor, looking towards your right hand, feeling the stretch on the upper back as well as the whole of your right side of the back. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center. Swap the legs over, so you're hugging the left knee towards your chest. Right leg straight, left arm out to the side, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Keep that left shoulder down onto the floor as you're bringing that left leg towards the right side, looking towards your left hand. Really keeping your shoulders onto the floor. And then just starting preparing yourself for the relaxation part of the class. You can follow the link that I've given you before, and I'm gonna see you next week for the last class that I've got planned, and then perhaps I'm gonna extend it a little bit more, okay? On the next inhale, come back to the center, hug the knees to the chest, and then prepare yourself into the Shavasana pose. And then just do the last part of the class by relaxing